a kid-friendly show.
Yeah, kid-friendly show. En tres, dos, uno, y welcome, everybody.
Welcome!
This is our. You're on camera now. This is our first podcast, and I am Pedro Martinez. And if you follow our videos on YouTube and follow us on Facebook, you know that we're here living in Puerto Rico. We're living off the grid. We have a shipping container home, and we talk about it. We talk about different things. So, this is my wife, Rosemary,
Hi! I'm Rosemary.
and we have three kids. We have a
Mhm.
22-year-old. We have the twins that are almost 3 years old. It's gonna be in September.
I know we survived. Survived 3 years.
It is has been long 3 years, huh?
Oh my god, has it? From hurricanes to COVID to more hurricanes.
It has been crazy. So, welcome to the first episode, the first podcast. Camborico's podcast. I guess that's what we're gonna be calling it, huh?
I hope. Well, I would think so. Kind of flows with the trend of what we're doing.
Yeah, I think it matches I guess the website, the YouTube channel, and everything else that we have done so far. And it's gonna match as well the restaurant once it opens. So,
Yeah.
all right. So this first episode is sponsored by my damn pocket. So we don't have sponsors yet. So hopefully soon. Anybody want to sponsor us? Talking about random stuff. Not only that we're gonna have these episodes in English, I am gonna have episodes in Spanish, bringing locals here, talk about different topics. It's gonna be interesting.
Oh, well, we could just say Spanglish. I think it's better Spanglish. Because the majority of the time our conversations are in Spanglish.
Actually, I like it that better. So it could be Camborico Spanglish
Yeah.
podcast. As long as we get subtitles, I guess we'll be
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so I think so. So this is our new studio, and low budget, very low budget, but it's working. I think it's working so far. You can probably hear our kids in the background. So we are in our home in Puerto Rico, where the local weather is always in the 80s, and the only difference is if it rains or doesn't rain, and that's about it, huh?
Or if it's windy. We live in like a pocket in the mountains or something.
Well, we're in the rainforest, and for some reason we're hitting all the airflow through the mountains, I guess.
Yeah, it blows. I mean, our house is very open, and so when the wind blows, it goes from the back door through our kitchen and then out one of the side doors. And so along with the wind goes everything that's on the table. So all day I'm cleaning.
Yeah, but it's fun too.
Oh my god, it
So
feels so nice.
it's nice cold. It does get a little bit cold in winter. When I mean cold, I don't know, upper 60s.
It gets chilly, not cold. It's more like light sweater weather, but not like full jacket earmuffs weather. That is behind us now.
All right, so in talking about random things, how's your new spin bike?
Oh my god! Do you know how long I've been waiting to have that spin bike? I mean, years. I've been spinning since, like
I don't know.
2008 or 9.
Yeah, but you had it was the babies, and after the babies, we had
Well,
the restaurant. To the restaurant, then we took a small trip for
Oh, yeah,
about a year and a
that's
half back to the U.S. just for a contract. I was
oh yeah.
took a contract with another company, space company, and
But that's when I
finally
started spinning again after the kids.
Mhm.
So I took it up again because it was like a gap of a year and some change. And
So why spinning and not running? Why is anything particular that
oh
just
my
you like
god,
it?
it's low impact, and you still get the adrenaline rush, And since you're not running, it's low impact, and so it doesn't, I don't know, I guess it doesn't put a lot of pressure on your back. And I could go for longer when if you're running and you know it's just like pounding on the pavement. I mean, I was an avid runner before I had a back injury, but then after the back injury, it was just you would run for 20-30 minutes and then your back is so sore the very next day. So someone told me about spinning. I took 2 classes and fell in love.
I understand it is a Sony and Health fitness bike. It's not a Peloton, definitely, right?
No. You know, it does a trick. It helps me out. It gets me, it gets me going. Hoping to lose all that weight that I gained in the 3 years after the kids.
Well, I think it's a normal thing. And talking about the kids, how are the kids? People have asked me, so the kids are okay. The twins are fine. They driving mama and papa crazy. Thankfully, we have Peter, our 22-year-old, kind of helping between. We get small breaks, an hour here, 2 hours there.
Yeah.
So we can go down and have some beers. But it is they're doing okay. I mean, with the COVID, we've been indoors. I mean, for the most part, we have gone to the beach and the river. To the river, we barely take them for the beach. Right now, those are on lockdown. We're not supposed to go to the beach. So just like anybody else in the States, it's being locked down here. Mask everywhere, and just be cautious. So thankfully we have space here for them to run around. So it makes it easier.
The kids are enjoying it outdoors, and they're little parakeets now, so they repeat everything that you say. So we really do have to watch our mouths. But so much fun. It's so much fun. Especially when you're dancing and they try to dance along. So they hit their milestones and, the developmental process. It's a very fulfilling thing to see when your kids are, you see their development as they grow older.
They're fun, definitely.
Yeah.
So I know I enjoy it every day. I know you enjoy probably.
I'm enjoying them most of the day.
Well, the thing is like Saka, our boy, he just has a random sleep. He sleeps during the day, but then at night he wakes up. It's just, I don't know, it's just random, it seems like. I don't know if it's normal or not.
I don't even know if it's normal. He's been like that ever since he was born. Like, he would wake up every hour when he was an infant. And then that every hour lasted for a year. And finally, we had one night of sleep when he was like a year and a half. One full night. But then it's sporadic now. It's like every 3-4 hours he'd wake up, he'd chill for like 2 hours and sleep for another 30 minutes and chill for another couple hours. And so you're always sleeping with like one eye open because, you can't sleep when the kids are awake. I'm afraid they might stub themselves on something, or I don't know. I guess it's mama's carefulness. I guess overprotectiveness. I don't know.
But for the most part, they're doing okay. They're healthy. So
yeah, they're healthy. They eat a lot. They eat a lot.
Saka, the boy, weighs too much, and then recognize picky certain things, but other things, she likes like fruit, vegetables, and shit like that. But
yeah, she could eat like 3 apples a day. This girl.
And Saka can probably eat like 5 bananas.
Yeah, he's a big banana kid.
All right, so some of the questions and comments that we have gathered, I guess, through Facebook, YouTube especially, and Instagram, Twitter. So I'm gonna throw those out. So I've been reading comments on YouTube especially, but then on Instagram and Facebook, that there seems to be an interesting consensus out there. It is that I look like a hybrid between Ryan Reynolds and Steven Seagal. I mean, I don't really see myself as. I think those are very unique people, but I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, it depends on your hairstyle. So, in my opinion, if okay, so if you're not like a bushwhacker man where you have your beard all like out there and it's nice and trimmed and your hair is back, you look like Ryan Reynolds. But if you shave and have your hair back in a ponytail, that's a Steven Seagal look. So it depends on your facial hair.
Okay.
And I even tried to look up a picture of Ryan Reynolds when he had a beard. There's a couple of pictures out there with him with a beard. And it's all
I don't
because
know.
of the
I keep
facial
looking. It's
structure.
kind of hard for me to see, but I don't know.
Well, you
I
don't
mean,
see
I
it.
see it as a compliment. I don't see it. I think it's funny every time I listen to those comments.
Oh wait, compliment for Ryan Reynolds or Steven Seagal?
Well, definitely Ryan Reynolds. Steven Seagal is fucking crazy.
Oh my god. I think there's this whole thing with him, like, teaching. He's with the cops now.
Yeah. That was Tom Segura was the one.
Oh yeah,
One of his
that's right.
specials. Yeah, he was talking about Steven Seagal.
And he has a
like,
whole show about
Oh.
him training cops. It's like Steven Seagal.
I don't know. It was something
I haven't
along the
seen
line that he is a, well, you know, if we were talking about helicopters, you know, but he has experience. He had done helicopters for you know 50 years or something like that. You know, it was funny. So check it out. Tom Segura, you know, one of his specials. There was a second last one.
I'm not quite sure.
Well,
which
probably
one
three
it is.
specials ago, probably. Not Ball Hawk, but the previous one. So talking about that, I think. Besides Tom Segura and Dave Chappelle, which are brilliant minds when it comes to
Comedy.
stand-up comedy, I think you know Bird and Joe Rogan and some of those guys are also up there. I kind of like Jeff. What's the guy's name? Jeff, the one that's a pale tourist, Gaffigan.
Oh yeah, Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff Gaffigan.
he's almost
That's
like
right.
a dumb funny guy. Has some things, but I like his pace. You know, so
Yeah.
he knows how to get
He
his
does
material
clean
out.
comedy. He does clean
Well,
comedy.
definitely. Nothing like,
So
you know, the N word or
he doesn't talk about balls and penises like for 15, 20 minutes.
at least for 14, 15, 20 minutes. All right. Let me go to the second question here, the comments. Why are we not publishing more videos or videos frequently? I have to say, and I was thinking about that last night and early as I was kind of putting some script together, you know, slapping something for today's episode is content creation. It is not natural for everybody. It's definitely not natural for me. In my mind, I have many things that I want to, you know, that I'm thinking about. I mean, my mind's always going like, you know, 100 miles an hour on different topics, different things at once, but until recently, I didn't feel comfortable sharing my thoughts, you know, like being vocal about it. I guess, you know, I'm getting older and just giving less fuck about things.
I guess
don't know.
it's more criticism. You don't care. You don't give two shits about criticism, and I know that because I criticize you a lot. But and you're just like whatever. But I think it's more of, you know, with whom you're comfortable with. You're able to take criticism or from people that you actually care for, but for other people you could give two shits about. But to share your own thoughts, that's more of a, you know, I guess something personal that you would only do with close colleagues. Because I know you share your opinions with all your friends, but with a stranger, you're just gonna tell them, "Have a good day," or "The weather's nice." Yeah, it's one of those things.
And it could be because you know I give less fuck about other people. However, my friends always are my friends, and although I am myself, you know, I'm not gonna say something to offend them. I'm gonna watch. However, our friends they don't give a fuck either, so they just say whatever they want to say. So
Oh,
for the most part,
yeah.
you know.
Well, we take their criticisms and then we criticize their criticisms and then make fun of them for it.
Yeah, but it's a different type of. The criticism is more constructive and to make fun of.
Yeah.
Meaning that
yeah.
we're you know pulling each other's legs, you know, we're cracking each other's, jokes and laughing about it and making fun, which is not. I don't know if it's a general thing, but I think it's more of a Puerto Rico thing.
Yeah. I've only seen it in Puerto Rico where you're able to take like someone's political viewpoint and turn it around to make it a joke and insulting at the same time. It's still lighthearted. And then you laugh about it, clink beers, and take a swig. And if that was to happen in another setting, I would say like in a bar in Washington D.C., that would cause riots. Riots. I mean, especially in these days. I mean, people are very sensitive
Well, I
now.
mean, another rise, but even just going to a bar and expressing your opinion, I've been in Washington D.C. talking about just like
Random
political
shit.
because people ask me, hey, what you think about you're Latino and you're a professional? You seems to be doing well. What's your views about such and such president and whatever policy? And you're trying not to get involved for the most part. So I have no idea. I'm not political. I don't follow. I don't even follow sports. So I don't know. I'm into my world of information technology, and I don't know what's going on around me. But every now and then, the few times that I have spoken, a few times I got in trouble, meaning that the other person will judge you. The other person will kind of take offense. It's almost like now they have their defenses up, and they
They
at
take it
times,
the
I
wrong
think I
way.
remember one lady. I think I was going to Joaquin's place, Joaquin's restaurant, and she was definitely a liberal, like extreme liberal, and she thought because I was Latino, I would share some of what she was exposing at the time.
Was I with you?
No, you
No.
weren't.
Oh, okay.
I was traveling. So, and she just assumed that I was with her, and they said, well, I don't think the same way. I think differently. And then she started asking, and I went the rabbit hole. I started telling exactly what I thought, and it was just simply not funny. And she ended up taking offense to the point that she got up and left.
Oh my god.
It was just crazy. So, but anyway, that's just the way it is. Here in the island, there seems to be a little more leniency about that. As long as you get to the approach of, hey, we're just having beer, we're just talking.
Yeah, it has
But
to
the
be in a
moment there are also
mentality.
certain people that the moment they have a few extra drinks, they might get offended. And that's when that's when you know who to hang out with.
Yeah, and who to kind of stay away from. The troublemakers, we'll say. I mean, there are people like that everywhere.
Well,
Everywhere.
I understand that,
You
but
got to be careful with some people, but some, they're very lighthearted, but others, they kind of take their emotions out on the bottle.
yeah, it is just one of those. So well, beyond that, another thing they have asked is about our home. So I know we have a couple of videos out there where our home is made out of shipping containers, 3 shipping containers. I have done the tour. We've been living off the grid since 2013. We moved to the island. 2012, 2013, we began living off the grid, and we were intended to actually move that way. We didn't want to be connected, mostly because the bureaucratic way of getting permits around here is like we've been waiting for months for the restaurant.
Yeah,
you know?
oh my
Yeah,
god.
I mean,
Even
literally
more
since last
so.
year. So it's been almost a year since we began the process of applying for permits, and I'm hoping that we're in the last final stage, but it's been a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it has been more so for waiting on others to fulfill their part of whatever they need to do. So we do everything on our side, and then we just have to play the waiting game. Say, okay, is it through? Is it true? And then you have to be like a little woodpecker on somebody's phone, or I don't know, just to get their attention in some way to move forward. It's been a pain.
When are you going to show some folks how to do kimchi? They have asked for it. I gotta guess we gotta put up a video how to do kimchi. Why are you reluctant to do it?
There's so many videos on kimchi, and a lot of it is Korean, and kimchi is a Korean dish. But there's also like a lot of criticism towards kimchi because there's the traditional kimchi, and then there's the modern kimchi. There's the non-spicy kimchi. There's what vegetables you use, how you use it, and which daikon to use, because there's a Korean radish, and then there's also the Japanese radish, which through trial and error, I found out the Japanese radish is a little bit more spicy than the Korean radish. So that's why the Korean radish is better for kimchi rather than the Japanese one. And it's so hard to find daikon or the Napa cabbage. Napa cabbage.
Here in the island.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about trying to do it with something more local, like a mustard green, or even the red radish, like something that's like peppery but still has a crunch to it. You could do a really quick kimchi with cucumbers, and that's readily available, but that only lasts for 2 days at the most, because cucumbers have so much water in them.
What you mean 2 days after you
Like
prepare,
after you
it's
make
ready?
it,
So it's not even worth it.
unless you like treat it ahead of time, but then it doesn't absorb the flavor as well. I don't know. I'm still kind of debating. I have to do a lot of tests to see what will work, because I want some Napa cabbage just to make some kimchi.
Well, why don't you call it Puerto Rican kimchi? I mean, that way, regardless of what they say, you're trying to use local ingredients,
We are. I know we are. You can't mess with kimchi though.
Yeah, but just something has to be in compromise. We're not in Asia, we're not in the States where things can be readily available. So, just call it Puerto Rican kimchi or Cambochi or something.
Cambochi. Well, I'm gonna see. I'll see. Maybe I'll have to do a spin on it, and instead of using the fermented shrimp, maybe try to use brahok, the fermented fish.
Oh, okay.
The
You have to talk about brahok over the
brahok,
videos.
yeah. I love brahok. Don't even.
But for those people who haven't seen the video, what is brahok?
Oh, brahok is like it's a fermented fish that is used as like a background umami flavor in Cambodian cooking, and that's uniquely Cambodian. So only Cambodians use brahok in their dishes, and then there's also main dishes that have it as the forefront flavor, and that's one of the most famous dishes that they have is there's brahok tea, and there's another one which is like I forget the name of it. Darn, I'm Cambodian too. I'm really bad.
Well, it's just so many dishes, and then on top of that, you have to assume that a lot of them may be traditional, but there's some that might not be traditional, maybe just unique in certain regions of Cambodia versus the entire Cambodia. I don't know.
Well, okay, so we steal a lot of recipes from like either China, Vietnam, or Laos, depending on
What about Thailand?
where. Thailand dishes are more rich, but they're very, very similar, but they use more rich flavors, like
So they're
a lot
stealing
of
from
coconut
you?
milk. I wouldn't say that. I say we influence each other. I think our dishes are more Indian and Thai influence. Yeah, because we do use, depending on the region, we use certain spices, and then our heritage is Indian too. So we do use a lot of curries, but it's lighter curry than Thai, because Thai has coconut based. A lot of their curries are coconut based. When Cambodian curries, I use broth, because as you grow older you learn broth is better.
Yeah. Are most of the dishes spicy or supposed to be spicy, or is again regional thing Cambodia?
Okay, they're supposed to be spicy, not Thai spicy, but yeah, they're spicy. And what I do is I tame it.
So if you said Thai spicy is like from 1 to 10, 10 being Thai or 9 being Thai, and how do you
Okay,
compare?
so we'll see it. We'll say we'll do it in chilies. So in a dish, I would for me I would put 4 or 5 chilies, and those are like the Thai red chilies. I would put 4 or 5 for myself.
Okay.
For you, I would put like half a chili.
Yeah, but that's for me. I mean, Puerto Ricans, we're not known for eat spicy food.
Oh my god, yeah. I put just for flavor, just like maybe a little bit, and then all of a sudden someone's like crying, like, "Oh, it's too spicy." I just sometimes I just can't handle it. I just walk away.
I don't know if it's the stomach thing or the butthole. I think there might be the butthole issues. Might get a little butthole sensitive.
I mean, that's like 2 hours or so afterwards. It's not like you're eating butt.
I don't know.
But
It's not like you're eating butt, but so it's more of a you want to taste the food. You want to.
But you are tasting. That's part of the flavor. That's the balance of it, because there's spicy, there's salt, there's sour, there's umami, there's the texture difference. So, Cambodian food is such a artistic palette of things.
But there's a difference in tolerance of heat.
Oh yeah.
The tolerance of heat. If you're not really tolerant to that, then you won't taste the food. You will taste the heat. That's it. So that's a part that I think Puerto Ricans are not used to it, and we like the flavor. That's why I think they're a little salt heavy. They want flavor.
Oh my god. I eat a pork chop, and it's just like licking pink salt. That's how salty some of the food is.
It's really we definitely heavy-handed on that, and on salt and garlic. I guess depending.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of Asians are heavy with garlic too. It's just a given.
All right. So can we expect the kimchi video soon? I guess with Puerto Rican ingredients.
I gotta test it. I'm gonna test it, and kimchi takes a long time to make, cause it takes, for fresh kimchi, it takes like 3 or 4 days, because there's a fermentation process. So you first make it in the first day, and that takes maybe 2 hours, because you have to get the salt out or whatever, and then after you jar it up, you wait a couple of days and you see if the fermentation is starting. You taste it to see how sour you want it, and when you get to the sourness that you're happy with, then you stick it in the fridge for a week. So it can, I guess the flavors will marry, because the flavors of the vegetables go down, and then the umami-ness comes up. So that's why kimchi is so addictive. It's that umami flavor, because you add either fish sauce or shrimp paste, or even raw seafood. Some people add calamari in there and raw shrimp. And I've made all of them, and my favorite one has to be the most traditional one, where they use these little shrimpies. They're tiny shrimpies, almost like krill, and it comes in a jar, and you put like a spoonful of that in there. And I've also used raw shrimp, which I also do like, even though that is more stinky than like the normal kimchi.
Yeah, but it doesn't cook, through the process.
No, it already cooks, because it's fermented. It's like pickled. It cooks through the fermentation process. So it's safe to eat. But it doesn't even taste slimy. It actually tastes like a cucumber, like crispier. But then when you eat the vegetable, it's weird. It gets all flimsy. That's because you salted it beforehand. So it draws the moisture out. When, for some reason, if you put like a fresh seafood in there, it makes it, I guess I don't know, it does something to it, but it doesn't make it mushy. It doesn't make it mushy. It stays crisp, which is nice, because when you're eating it, it's like you're eating fresh shrimp.
Yeah, but I do like the kimchi, especially not the very last one, but the ones before. I think they have been great. So I don't know what happened to the last one. Just a little different. I don't know if it was an ingredient.
It's the Japanese daikon. I told you.
Oh, okay.
It's because that Japanese daikon was, I don't know, it was just, I guess it was so fresh that, because it has a spicy, peppery aftertaste, and it was, it was like very dominant in that kimchi. So it didn't work out.
Okay, so um, besides the kimchi, I think the fried chicken. So I don't know if we gotta think about it. I don't know if we want to give that recipe away.
Shoot, that's I made that recipe. That took like years of trial and error to finally figure out the right combination of spices and process to make it tender. Well, maybe we'll see.
I mean, you can definitely try. Just maybe give most of the recipe, leave one ingredient out or something like that. But at least the technique, that might be good
Well,
thing
the
to try.
technique is all the main thing because that's how,
Uh,
I don't know. It's like, have you ever heard of hot fried chicken, like Southern hot chicken?
uh-huh.
Like this one lady got pissed off at her husband, and so she made fried chicken. He was like, I want it spicy. So she was like, well, bitch, you want it spicy? I'll give you spicy. And so she dunked that thing in like a blend of hot sauces,
Holy shit.
and she was like, well, eat this shit. And then he was like, babe, this is so good, blah blah. And next thing you know, she's a billionaire. But there's that blend of hot sauces that she dipped that chicken in,
She only knows the
that
blend.
she knows that recipe for.
So you gotta keep perfecting it. Maybe we get to be billionaires one day.
I don't know. Let's kind of sit on that. Don't want to get my hopes up too much.
Anyway, so the other thing with making the videos so frequent is we want to make videos like of different places around Puerto Rico. I mean, Puerto Rico and this island is only 100 miles, about 35 or so. I think it's a little more than that, but give or take. And the problem is with the pandemic, it's just the timing that we begin posting the videos earlier in the year, and then the whole pandemic. It's not safe to go out. It's not safe to do vlogs and take the camera around the island at this point. So the only time we have taken the camera has been for just personal, private gatherings with our closest friends, family. Again, to the river, to the south of the island, with some of our good buddy Jose and his wife, and that's about it. So it's kind of hard to show you the island when the island is on lockdown. So and going back to the subject, it's the being creative. There's so many things that you can do around here, but at least from my perspective, if I already show you the river, or if I already show you the garden, well, I'm gonna do another video show you the same shit.
No. I disagree. As a person that wasn't born on the island, that didn't live with this paradise, and decided to go to like, the slums of a redneck country. But there's one Espiritu Santo, but there's sections of it that are absolutely amazing. The different waterfalls, the different hikes that you have to go to get there, and then there's the warm waters, and then there's the cold waters, and then there's the different scenery, and then there's in the rainforest there's so many different plants and regions of the rainforest that you don't really experience, like upriver versus downriver, and even the animals around. Like when we were in Oscar's place, his place had so many like tropical birds just flying around.
There was a lot of parakeets and
Parakeets,
parrots
yeah.
and all kinds of stuff. We took some videos, even drone footage.
Yeah, it was
there,
so nice. But then here we get like, those white,
a lot of doves.
the doves.
A lot of changos.
Yeah, and but the white cranes every now and then come,
That's
and
how
hawks. We
because
get
we're so
hawks.
high, we're 1400 above sea level. So for being so high, I mean, we get a different type of bird that are usually dwelling in the lower parts. For some reason.
I don't know. It's even though it's so they only live like maybe 15-20 minutes away, but I guess I don't know how it is, the elevation or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
probably
just-
the
it's
region
different.
of the rainforest. But again, I mean, we can post, but again, for somebody being local, it's hard to showcase some of the things that are similar. I would think people will get bored. I mean, how many banana trees you have to see to finally enjoy banana trees? I mean, unless it's like a banana tree, food porn trend or something like that. So I don't know. I guess people start jacking off the banana trees.
No, don't do that.
So
But it's like the beaches. Like, how many beaches? I mean, Puerto Rico is an island, so it's surrounded by water. But the sand in the different beaches, that are locally, that are open. Well, I mean, all the beaches are open, but I mean like the laying around.
Mhm.
The sand is different in each area. So there's the rocky areas, and then there's the flamenco has like white soft sand, and then here in Loquillo
But
it's
again,
kind of
flamenco is in Culebra,
But
which
it-
is
oh,
again,
yeah,
if we
okay.
can really travel around the island, it's hard for me to do a video about the same thing around this property. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, but this property is because it's this property.
Yeah, but then nearby in the river, I guess I'll take your point. I'm used to see the river, but maybe other people haven't. The beach, maybe that too, but and I guess the plethora of birds that we have. You can probably hear some of those in the background now.
Yeah, I think the different birds will be pretty interesting because in such a small like length from here to there in Puerto Rico, you could there's such a difference in the species and what you see. Because even when walking down the beach in Loquillo, just walking on the sand, we were probably walking for like, I don't know, like a mile.
Yeah, about
Well,
miles
we were following Oscar. The landscaping changed. Like there were rocky coral areas where there were a lot of fish, and then it turned into like these grassy areas where there are probably like a lot of sea slugs. And then if you go further out, there was like an inlet where it looked like all these little baby fish were there, and the water temperatures were different, and there's different mangroves, and even just walking along the coastline, even that was different.
Well, that's true. I mean, similar to the river. I understand that, but more of that once we, I guess, open up again. Because right now we're on the beach, it's only for exercise, so we're just gonna have to wait.
For exercise,
I mean, I guess we can walk and record, and it's just hard to be at the beach and they'll have a beer and a hand and stuff like that. And you have to wear masks. I don't know. I found that a little comfortable, but I guess it's okay.
Shoot, I've seen people just lay around, and then like every half hour or so they
Just
start
get up.
doing like group exercise work.
Jumping jacks.
They sit back down.
I think we saw that on the first week when the lockdown, where they're saying that you were only supposed to go to the beach to do exercise, whether it was swimming, whether it was just whatever. And people were just chilling. Whenever they saw the police boats on the area, they started doing jumping jacks, doing the water, all synchronized. And I think that thing was in the news.
That was so funny.
But it's I mean, it's pandemic. It's unique. I don't know.
It's a situation where the norm is no longer norm. It's a new norm. Masks are a new norm here, and the Puerto Ricans are very, very touchy. They're huggy. Their camaraderie is through like how you greet each other. So I've noticed, like, if you don't know somebody that well, you do a handshake, and if you really do know them, you give them a hug and you kiss them on the cheek. And now it's like, I don't know what to do. I like you, but are you sick? I don't know what to do.
But I don't want to die.
Yeah,
So
it's
if
like,
it's wrong, Yeah, it is weird. I think for the mainland is a little different. Us, we're here in Puerto Rico. We're very touchy. I mean, just you have to feel somebody when you're talking. I don't know why. Just the way it is. Or you put it on the shoulder and tap. It's almost like connection.
Even hand slaps. Oh, constant. Like, yeah.
Well, I think that has to do with the volume of alcohol.
Oh yeah, the more you drink, then
The more you want
yeah,
to slap.
yeah. Or hand or whatever.
Slap something. It's just I guess Puerto Ricans here, we are a little, uh, I guess, more social, more warm in that regard
Yeah.
than physical.
Yeah.
But physical in a sense of, touching somebody. I don't know. I think it's a Latino thing.
It is a Latino thing. Oh.
I don't think it's just unique to Puerto Rico. I think it's more of a Spanish-speaking countries with like that. Same thing, with families. So I don't know how Asia is. If you guys like that, huggy, kissy,
We don't even hug or kiss our parents.
touch each other's butt or something.
Hell no. Not family. Not even our husbands or like loved ones. I mean,
So how you express? I know you, but how most Asians express, affection,
well, only behind closed doors. Only behind closed. But technically, if we're outside or if somebody's around, it could be like even a dog. You're supposed to just walk side by side like friends, and not even hold hands. So yeah, that's why in the beginning of our relationship, I was more like, "Don't hug me, don't kiss me. Oh my God, people are looking."
People were thinking I'm gonna rape you or something.
Oh my God, even people here in Puerto Rico are like, "I never see you. What is it with you guys?" It's like, it's me.
Yeah, I had one of those very close friends that said, man, I'm sorry, but how is it that I never seen you and your wife not even hold hands or kiss or anything? I mean, are you guys okay? It is it's different, but it's because I'm used to you. I mean, we've been 16 years together now, so it has been a long journey. So we have learned a lot. So
Yeah.
now you're used to me. I guess I'm used to you sometimes.
Oh, I have my ways. I have my moods.
Yeah,
And
I know.
some. Anyway, so the pandemic is still going on.
Well, that too. We gotta be safe, So please, folks, wear your mask. Not for you, You wanna fuck yourself, but for your neighbor, for whoever's next to you.
Well, don't fuck your neighbor.
Well, maybe the neighbor wants to be fucked.
Oh, it depends on the signals they give.
Yeah, consensual. Fuck.
Consensual.
Is that how you say it?
Consensual.
Ah, consensual. What is consensual, right? Consensual.
Oh my God. Is that what you think about?
The consensual?
Consensual.
But anyway. Alright, so let's wrap this up for today. I can hear the kids in the background being a little rowsy, they're having fun. We're testing this first podcast, and it's not even test, that's it, we're gonna start.
Yeah, that's how it is.
So we're gonna be starting, as I mentioned earlier, it's gonna be our English podcast, our Spanish podcast, or perhaps we're gonna have the Spanglish podcast.
English will be better.
In Spanish, you're gonna be same format in terms of just being formal. We drinking beer, whatever we talking. But I'm gonna bring in some guests to talk about, among other things, history of Puerto Rico as nobody has seen, as the schools are not teaching. It's a lot of things that I personally have learned the past 6 months during this pandemic and meeting, certain of our friends, that they never taught me in school. That's not even taught in university. And their facts, their recent findings on the past, 10, 20 years that for some reason, one way or another, they're not getting into the textbooks, they're not promoting that. With exception of some professors in university, they're the ones, pursuing this research and kind of getting the word out, but they're still not getting the publicity they need to make a serious impact. So I think more Puerto Ricans are getting awake into the fact that we have been a nation very for a very very long time here. One of the first ones here in the New World, so to speak. And Puerto Ricans, they, for the most part, the majority, they don't know where they're coming from. They don't know their history. They think their history is like 500 years or less. You know, that we went from Indians with covering our genitals to where, you know, whenever the Spanish and the Americans got here, and that's it, and it's a lot more, you know. So anyway, we're gonna be discussing some of that. We're gonna be talking about everything, a little bit of politics on the light way and the funny way. This is not a
It's
talk
not a
show,
venue.
political talk show. This is not anything like that because, first of all, I like not to follow politics to talk about it. I just like to follow for the sake of knowing, you know, who I'm voting for. Which, by the way, I'm gonna be voting in Puerto Rico here for the first time in so many years, probably over 20 years, and it's gonna be interesting, given the fact that the previous governor was kicked out. You know, he had to.
Oh, all those.
Yeah, the Ricky Rosselló, you know, after he did such a horrible job, and right now the predecessor one does the same thing. But anyway, we're gonna be talking some of that lightly, from a funny perspective. If you would like to get your questions answered about anything from shipping containers, from you know, life here in Puerto Rico, recipes, stand-up shows, anything. Please go ahead and send us that, share with us in the comment sections of the video. We'll be reformatting as we go this podcast. We are still
We're
trying
learning.
to. Yeah, we're learning, especially on the technical side of things, with the camera, the mic, the software. I think I'm using OBS Studio. So, you know, I'm just beginning to learn that. Same thing with the videos, you know, and the drone that I just got, where I'm just learning how to drive that thing and recording and making it fun. This is a hobby for me, hobby for us. You know, we have our, I guess, our life, but it's nothing different. Which is
Yeah.
basically opening the cameras and sharing of what we do here on the island. Puerto Rico is a fantastic place. I mean, I have bias because I'm from here, but it's amazing. I mean, we have such a great ecosystem when it comes to nature. The food is great. We have diversity of people. I mean, it's definitely one place that you would like to be outside of the unquote U.S., but still, you know, U.S. So to speak, at least legally, you know, we still.
It's an easy transition, we'll say,
Mhm.
living here from the States, because a lot of things are very very similar. Meaning like the structure of it, because it is based on because they're trying to do it the way, like, influence from U.S. because they, you know, took over or whatever.
Oh, they invaded, I will say.
Oh
That.
yeah, I didn't want to say that. I was like,
I
yeah,
say
kind of.
that. We're gonna be talking about that in a future video, but yeah, I mean, it is some of that. It is part of the diversity that we have. You know, we're very influenced by the Americans or the culture. Culturally, I think more of in the pop culture. We used to be 10 years behind the U.S., the mainline, but now we're like maybe a few months behind. When something gets
Yeah,
caught
it's
up
catching up
in
now.
the States, now almost immediately, when I say immediately, it's, you know, in a matter of 1 or 2, things are catching up here, if not sooner, obviously thanks to technology, the internet, and everything else. However, things from a government perspective and how things run, although it's similar, but we're still behind, you know. It's right now, I still have to go in person to get driver license, to get anything, you know. The government system still behind.
Yeah, it's a little behind. But then, you know, in the States, it also takes, you know, maybe months to get something approved with the bureaucracy and the bureaucratic systems of the you know, some agencies.
I mean,
It's
maybe at the
so
federal
weird.
level, if it's
Yeah, on the
something
federal
like
level,
that, but
yeah.
I think more on the local level, if you go to the local municipality, and you need to, you know, you're going to buy a house, you're going to build a house, things are very systematic. They're already in
Oh,
place.
that's true.
So,
And they use technology very well. So a lot of things are online, or they use the cloud, or, you know, everything, the process is sped up with the use of technology. I've seen that.
Yeah, so definitely. So again, share your comments with us, your questions for the next podcast. At the same time, please, if you haven't done so, subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you get notifications every time we upload a video. We are intended to load videos more frequently. Is that the right say to say?
Yeah, more frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are going to again share more recipes, doing videos around the island. We're gonna be traveling not too far from here, but I'm gonna be sharing some of the trips and show you some unique places on the island that you probably won't see on your tourism brochures or websites, you know, like TripAdvisor or whatever. So neat places to go to. Same thing with unique local dishes that are not popular, but they're unique and great. You know,
It tastes good.
yeah. Well, it's hard to find something without pork, though. So everything here involves pork.
And I was hoping to find seafood here because it's an island, but no, pork is king.
Yeah. Well, it's pork, chicken, beef, and seafood. That's probably
Yeah,
pork is
the
number one.
rating.
Chicken
of it.
number two, beef maybe, and then seafood. You know, and well, popularity. Which is again
yeah.
strange for being on the island. You know, you will think that you will have seafood on top
Well,
of
they
this.
do because there's the Caribbean lobster, and it's a big thing here. I mean, there's parrilla. That's like what they specialize in.
La Parrilla is a local restaurant in Luquillo. Yeah, and actually we share that information on the blog. We do have a blog. We have a travel blog. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's Camborico.com. And then we started with Puerto Rico, and we are planning once we open up to go around the island and show you the different municipalities that are at the same time, you know, show you like places like Dominican Republic or the Virgin Islands, you know, things around here that are easy to travel. They only take, you know, a few minutes to get there. Just short trips, definitely. And if we go somewhere else, you know, who knows? If you want to be sponsoring, you know, our trips, you know, we're more than happy to take the sponsorships. So we'll see, and we can take sponsorship in the way of beer too. So
That'll work. Beer, beer is a little.
Guinness or Medalla. I guess that's the
That's
top preference.
the choices. Well, Medalla you can't really find.
No, well, you find local. Actually, Medalla now is in Orlando and it's on the DC area.
Ah, that's right.
So now, if you are listening and you have been in Puerto Rico, you have tasted the Medalla Light. It's my favorite local beer, cheap beer. I mean, it's light, it's great. Orlando area, I think Kissimmee, all that area. I'm not sure if Miami or Jacksonville, but for sure Orlando area and the DC area, including Maryland, Virginia. They do have now distributors, so local restaurants and local supermarkets are starting to distribute those. A friend of mine sent me a picture through Instagram, and he's loving it. He said, "Man, I miss this beer so much." So
it's a good one if you don't have Guinness.
well, I mean, I like craft beers too. I guess so. Mostly
An everyday. That's a good
IPAs.
everyday beer.
Yeah, everyday beer. 2 beers a day keep the COVID away or something like that.
That works for me. I'm still healthy.
Alright guys, so take it easy. I'll see you later.
Thanks for joining.
Out.